All right, welcome back. I'm Joey Seeley, owner of Emotion Engineering. This is going to be the first of many episodes where we highlight some of our favorite project cars. In this case, it is a Cherry 991.2 GT3 with a 6-speed manual. And honestly, it came to us basically stock, except for the carbon fiber hood. The customer is a retired amateur racer, ran cup cars for many years, and kind of wanted the same thing for the street. Something he could take to dinner and to the track if he wanted to, which is pretty much every one of our customers. But a really, really extensive build with no expense spared. Every aspect of this car is to the highest level of performance. We started with the cup car conversion, most of the cup car conversion anyways. The cup front bumper is the same as a street car front bumper, except for it's pre-cut for the swinging style tow hook, as well as it's pre-cut for the flares. We opted for the stock one in a simple, screw-in OEM replacement tow hook, and then the cup flares, cup splitter, and these dive planes. Also, when the car came to us, it had the same BBS FIRs, but they were brushed with a tinted clear that the customer didn't like, but neither did we. We refinished them in the brilliant silver, but also when we did the cup flares, we swapped out for a GT3 RS size and offset to fit with the cup flares a little bit better. Obviously, you can see the AP Racing Radical kit. We supply a lot of our customer cars with these kits. With the pre-burnished rotors, which is fantastic. It helps with friction coefficient, but also the length or the longevity of the rotor, and it really is incredible when coupled with either our track pad, or in this case, our street and track compound that is proprietary for us. We decided to run, because the customer likes it, we're open to really any tire, but this has the Pirelli P0 Trofeo R, which is really, really nice and sticky for track use and still plenty good for the street. The rockers are from a GT2 RS, so they're a bit wider and much more streamlined. It's going to be a lot more effective for the aero, as well as it honestly knocks down a lot of the rock chips to the rear quarter panel. To the back here, very obvious cup wing and cup deck lid. The rear bumper, again, the only difference between the cup car and the street car is the tow hook, and we just opted for no tow hook on the rear of the car. Another little fun thing that we do with these cars, both the GT3 and the RS, is open up these vents. These vents from the factory are closed off and they just have a heat shield there. In Europe, you can't have the rear bumper and rear wheels vented for, I imagine, just for debris, at the cars behind. But we open this up, so now it's an actually functioning grille. You can see there the rear muffler. We also open up these side vents. That's really good for reducing drag at the back, any of the air that's trapped behind the bumper, but also to allow the heat to escape, which heat kills anything, really. Let's take a look at the engine compartment, or lack thereof. So carbon fiber rear wing support from the cup. So it's the full conversion cup air box. We still retain the engine fans. And that's about it. That's all you can ever see, is not a whole lot. All stock in appearance in the front, but before we lift up the car and show you the underside, get a little sneak peek at the KW competition, or sorry, not competition, but KW variant 4 front dampers that retain the nose lift, and there's a variant 5 damper in the rear, which makes it a 4-way adjustable rear, 3-way adjustable front. One of my favorite parts of this car is the fact that it's still a 6-speed manual. Obviously, we all know that the PDK is quicker on the track, but for driver enjoyment and driver experience, still can't beat a manual. The interior is virtually stock, except for every piece of plastic in this car that really was out of place, because you have a leather dash with deviated stitching, all the Alcantara sprinkled around with deviated stitching. Any bit of plastic didn't really have a place. So, the steering column has been wrapped in leather with stitching, and the sides of the dashboard, same, wrapped in leather and stitched. The speaker covers and the clock in the center of the dash, and all the, really just about everything has been updated, so it looks factory. This car also has our back half roll cage that we just recently put back into production, but he was one of the original first guys to have one of these. But we tried to finish this in a color that really went well with the silver stitching and the dark kind of charcoal Alcantara look, which we think we hit pretty spot on. But driving on a weekend to dinner or something like that, this feels like a stock car and then some. It's really a nice interior. All right, well, now the good stuff. It really, honestly, everything about it is heavily modified, but it looks stock, even on the underside. Like our control arms are as nice or nicer than original parts from Porsche Motorsport. Long tube headers with high flow cats, that's about it. Makes great sound, reduce the weight, make a little power. Every single control arm has been replaced with our spherical upgraded arms. And then, like I mentioned, the Variant 5, which is a 4-way adjustable rear. This is a very similar kit, virtually the same kit as Manti Racing uses in their GT3 RSMR. We just fitted it to a GT3. So 3-way adjustable front, 4-way adjustable rear, and absolutely amazing on track, but still very compliant for street use. A lot of people ask about solid bushings too. The GT3 RS with the Visoc package and the new 992 GT3 and RS have all solid bushings too. So real high quality bearings built to the proper specs with the right tolerances are going to make virtually no noise. You hear a little bit more of the tire across cracks, but no rattles and squeaks. Up front, you can see the under tray strakes that we offer, which this is in the 991 days. This was found on the GT2 RS Club Sport, as well as the 935. We made some changes, but we made them also in carbon Kevlar, so it holds up to some abuse from debris on track, but virtually unscathed typically. More of our control arms, everything's been replaced. One of our favorites is we were the first to ever come up with a tension arm that is shim adjustable instead of a threaded turnbuckle, which you get lost in the adjustments, and I also cannot help you over the phone or email. So with this, we can. You just count the shims or measure the shims and know where you are as far as left or right goes. But like I said, the nose lift is still functional, the original one from the factory. So huge benefit for getting around town, especially with the slightly deeper cup splitter. The factory one is a little harder. This is a little softer, so it can take some abuse, but a little bit deeper, creating a little more downforce at the front of the car. The separation edges, as they call them, I've always called them fender flicks. Some of my dog hair on there. But yeah, everything as you'd have on a cup car, but for a very tasteful street car. On almost all of our project cars, we upgrade the brakes. The common topic on our Instagram is the difference between carbon ceramic and a proper steel rotor. Carbon ceramic is not carbon used in motorsport, so it is not the same, which in that case, yes, it is better. It's lighter, it performs better, but stock PCCBs, or the carbon ceramic, are not better than a proper steel. And we can go smaller. So this is a smaller rotor diameter versus the 410 millimeter rotor that's carbon ceramic, which you can't really fit a 19-inch wheel on. We're not running 19s in this case, but you could, which is again why we use it typically. But put the expensive carbon ceramics on the shelf and upgrade to an AP Radical kit that has a floating rotor. So it is an aluminum hat with a steel rotor. This is the same rotor and design used in professional racing. So end of topic. The caliper itself is lighter than the original, big casted steel piece. These are not monoblock, but they are aluminum, and they are machined to get rid of all the excess material. The KWs really honestly look OE, which they should, because KW and Manthey and Porsche all work together. So the race cars are provided with KWs, and the Manthey MRs are as well. And this is a very similar kit to the GT3 RS MR, and basically that's the same body. It's an inverted front strut, but this is the same body as stock. So the pneumatic nose lift still works. Everything else looks OE because, well, it is. The cup car from Porsche is as nice as the street car. So these fender liners are for this cup flare. These separation edges are from Porsche Motorsport as well. As is the splitter. So, modifications don't really need to look like modifications. It needs to, for us, it needs to look as if Porsche intended it that way. When it comes to our control arms, the goal was to put the best control arm out there on the market. These cars are beautiful. These cars are amazing. The performance is incredible. So we wanted a control arm that is appropriate for the car. And the aftermarket really felt like it was lacking. So we wanted to even put Porsche Motorsport as our benchmark, because we've been racing these cars for decades. But in this case, on our tie rod ends, we actually use the pins, the bearings, well, that's it on this. That is from Porsche Motorsport. It is the same as the Cup. It's the same as the RSR. And we just make our own clamp style tie rod piece. So this is adjustable for bump steer. And you get a little bit more length when you're widening the front track, which is important because you want to keep the proper amount of thread engagement. I already mentioned the shim style tension arms, which we were the first to come up with that back in 2018. And it allows, with the I-beam shape, it allows for the stock brake duct to just snap back in place. I couldn't stand the fact that we always had to zip tie them. It just didn't seem right. Yeah, in the rear, the same thing. All the upgraded control arms, you can see. One of the nice things about the upper arms is, there's no putting weird fabricated stuff to hook up the ride height sensor. We have a tab on our arm. We also make them non-adjustable because too many people get it wrong. And again, if somebody's got a car across the country or in some other country and they have a setup problem and those arms are adjustable and I don't know where you set them to, I can't help you. So in this case, if you think you're going to outsmart Porsche, you're probably wrong. So they're not adjustable. You don't need it adjustable, and that's that. So you just put them in and forget about it. That's the way we like all of our components to be, is just forget it, make it easy. All the adjustments are the same as factory. So 2-piece lower control arm, same as factory with a factory shim. That's that. Still has the rear toe steer, which is obviously the street car, and the cup cars don't have it, but e-brake still works. Everything is as it's supposed to be. You can see here the long tube headers, which is nice because that big rear or the side mufflers that weigh 22 pounds a piece, those are gone. So there's a little weight reduction at the rear, and which is, believe it or not, you can feel it. It increases the slip angle in these cars pretty drastically. You can probably see here what the fact that you can see daylight through the grille now on the side, which takes quite a bit of work. We almost always retain the center muffler on a GT3. A lot of people like to upgrade them or delete them. We don't, because it's a continuation of the splitter. It has a function besides, engine performance. It also is very lightweight and sounds very good. And it's really hard to beat the horsepower that the center muffler creates. But there's a lot of aftermarket exhausts that hang down below, and they've upgraded their rear wing and their splitter and their dive planes, but their muffler is hanging down below the diffuser. You just negated the function of your rear diffuser, which is awesome and very, very useful. So you'll almost always see the stock muffler on our cars. My favorite aspect of these cars that is nearly impossible to portray in video or any other way is how great they are on the street, or how compliant they are, or how the performance is there while being comfortable. Words that aren't intended to go together. But it's I often get messages from people of like, how is this even possible? How is the car more taut yet more comfortable? You'll notice too that the car is not that loud. Normal commuter, but then when you want it to make some noise, it will. You can still hold a conversation even driving a little quicker, a little more spirited. Obviously that's very light throttle, but they don't need a lot of throttle to be going quick. But you also notice over all these bumps, there's no squeaks or rattles. That's important. It's kind of amazing that although we built this car for the street, but able to do track duty, with the best of them, this car has actually not seen the track. Like I said, but that perfect exhaust note, you can't get that with straight pipes. These cars are just so good out of the box, but the manual is just amazing. We all know the PDK is quicker on the track, but it's just not as engaging. You're not as much a part of the equation. Driving a manual is like it's connecting with the car on a deeper level, to sound nerdy. But it really is like you're in charge. You're rowing through the gears, and you're tap dancing. It's a lot of fun, especially when you're on track or in the mountains or canyons, on the fun roads, because making a car fast is easy, but making it comfortable and compliant for street use, but really truly comfortable and compliant is the special part of it, because this as it is right here, right now, we could roll on, like if we had, access to the Nürburgring or access to any track for that matter, just roll on and just instantly throw down some really, really aggressive lap times. So I hope soon we'll get to do a comparison test, of one of these in stock form, and same with the RS. The RS is in stock form and our modified version. Get some real good comparison with a common driver. The one frustrating part is you want to open it up all the time, and it's very rare that you get to. But at higher speeds, like freeway speeds and above, is really the sweet spot of these cars. You can tell over the bumps, it's really so nice with very minimal movement. There's just so much more resolution to the damper, and it just sucks everything up and controls everything. So it's still very minimal amounts of movement, but it's just very comfortable with that small amount of movement because the dampers are in complete control of it. But then the braking is just so fun too. So the way the car pulls in a straight line, it should do the exact or better in braking, and the brakes are so linear, and they just get better and better as you keep introducing more heat to them. And there's freeway cruising speed, nice and quiet, nice and comfortable. But then